greatest lessons that I ever learned in my life took place because of a summer league basketball game that was played down at the Jellips Boys Club in the early 60s. We were going to play the Inter High All-Stars, and boy, were they loaded. They had 7 players on their team that would go on to play some form of professional basketball before their careers were over. We had a good club, too, but we were young. It was really the nucleus of the team that would, a couple of years later, beat Power Memorial and Lou Alcindor. But tonight we had to play against the best team, obviously, in the league. People were there from all over the city. They were on the roofs of buildings. They were hanging from fences. They were on telephone poles. You couldn't even get near the court. As a result, I had my entire group of substitutes stand behind the bench so some of the very prominent people that had been at our basketball camp that day could be seated and see the game. Sitting right next to me the entire game was Red Auerbach, the phenomenal coach of the Boston Celtics. Next to Red was Bill Bradley, the great All-American from Princeton, who went on to stardom in the pros and even, of course, became a United States Senator. Next to him was Hot Rod Huntley from West Virginia. Next to him was Benny Levitt, who was the foul shooting wizard of all time. Next to him was Bud Milligan, the head coach of Maryland, who goes on and on and on. And what a game it was. Not settled in regulation. It went 3 overtimes, and we lost by 1 point in 3 overtimes in a game which I think a lot of people thought we were going to beat pretty bad. So I was really proud of our kids, told them what a phenomenal job they did, and we're going to keep working hard and get better. The next day at camp, Red Auerbach started walking up the driveway because he used to love to come up and play tennis during the day. It was during the summer. And I figured Red, having sat next to me the entire game, would have some real nice things to say. So I said, "Hi, Red, how's it going?" He said, "Pretty good, Morgan," and he kept on walking. He never said a word. And I guess young coach, fishing for a compliment maybe. I said, "Red, what'd you think of the game last night?" "Oh," he says, "oh, the game?" He says, "I think it's a shame that you cost your team the game. You lost the feel of the game." He said, "I heard the way you were talking with your team in those overtimes. You were talking about what you would have done on offense. Your offense was in good shape. You were getting good shots, good spacing, good movement. Your problems were down in the defensive end. You should have been double blocking at that big guy and dropping the off guard back to try to get there forward. But what happened is you turned spectator a little bit. You really didn't know what was hurting you. You lost the feel of the game." And he said, "You know what? If you're ever going to be a good basketball coach, you really have to know what's going on." He said, "A lot of coaches don't. They turn spectator, they start cheering or hollering. But if you have the feel of the game, you have a chance to be a great coach." He said, if you think about it, anybody that's good at anything in life, they have the feel of the game. They really do know what's going on. And they know how to fix it. They know how to adjust it. And if you keep that in mind, good things will happen. And so I can say to this day, the feel of the game became one of my driving forces that I tried to apply to everything I did in life, in the classroom, as a father, now as a grandfather, and certainly as a coach all those years. And I'd say the same thing to anyone listening. Don't lose the feel of the game.